Hey, what up? Back at grinding at the ECS library. The plan is to nail down the events, because right now I'm missing this somehow, and also change a little bit the architecture so everything is done through world. Yeah, so because world needs to be injected in every component. No, world needs to be injected in every entity. Or component. I think it needs to be injected in the component because when when you add an entity or remove one, you need to be able to broadcast it to the queries. And by looking at the internet, over the internet, there are some libraries. One particularly that I really like, Geotic. It's called Geotic. So, and inside the entity, they have this fire event, which fires for each of the entities. And you see in the component, you still have access to the world through the entity, which is kind of interesting design. This on destroy. So you see it broadcasts the event. Now I'm not sure about this at the moment, so trying to figure it out. So create query, and also I will need to refactor the tests here. Create query ID filters, new query, set the query. Okay, bam. Get query by ID. Okay, create. This has to be create entity actually. Create entity. So I'm gonna do it just like that. So extends type of entity. Const. Record new. So I only need the I just realized that I only need the ID. Okay, and when I create the entity, should inject the world. Right? And here, public world. So this entities has an entity that already exists. Set notify queries of candidacy. So this is when you add a new query. And candidate should be, yeah, it's a match thing. So, and this should be create entity because it's more like a factory. So world is more like a factory / API class. Notify queries of removal. Oh. And this should be renamed. Notify queries of entity candidacy of entity removal. You know, I'm asking myself, could I use a custom font for the editor? This font reminds me of IRC clients, and I think it's pretty fun, but I don't think I'm going to keep this. It's rather distracting me. Default. Okay. So notify of entity candidacy removal. So we need a remove entity. And notify. Okay. On add component. think I need to start having ESLint, otherwise I'm just going to have a huge problem in the future with the way the base code, the way the code is written, and the way I expect someone to contribute. Okay. It says next create an ESLint RC CGS. Okay. New config. Or set ES going to use flat config environment to true to opt out even the presence and you're using that. Okay. ESLint config.js file in your root. Okay. Doesn't work, so okay, let me follow this and then, because I don't need this right now, I don't need to understand this right now. Okay, are we good now? ESLint automatic. Okay. Neither TypeScript ESLint nor ESLint core enable any formatting rules in any recommended presets. However, some third-party plugins configuration may enable that may still enable that bad practice. If you see formatting rules enabled in your ESLint configuration, we recommend using ESLint config prettier. To disable formatting rules in your ESLint configuration, you can configure your formatting separately for ESLint. Using this config by adding it to the end of your extends. Okay. Note that even if you use formatter other than prettier, you can use ESLint config prettier, as it exclusively turns off all formatting rules. Okay. Oh, so these two might conflict with each other. That's rather interesting. ESLint Stylistic project provides an ESLint plugin containing formatting and stylistic rules. That plugin can serve you as a formatter if you strongly prefer not to use a dedicated formatter. Actually, yes, I would like to use this. It's composed of 4 plugin and 1 unified plugin. Okay. TypeScript stylistic rules migrated, credited, blah blah blah. We recommend using ESLint plugin as it contains both one for JavaScript, just one for TypeScript actually. Stylistic. And rules. Note that this package only contains stylistic rules. Yeah, sure. One stylistic rules. We have like a fix command. Run ESLint. Okay. This is what I wanted to see. On add component. This world of component. Oh. So wait a second. If you add a component, then that means you change the signature of your entity. And that means that entity might be needed to be removed from some of the queries. So I need to find all the queries that have so if you add a component, got it. Okay. So I need to iterate through all the queries that satisfy. Okay, so it's like this. It's find all queries that contain component. This might be a subject to some optimization. Filter based on component. And you have component. Filter, no, it's for each query if query filter all. Now query all. As bit. Toggle. What should I call this? So notify queries of entity component addition. And there's another one which is similar. Notify queries of entity component removal. So then you have all these, and if it has the bit, then query, then I just need to query entity ID, remove it. Adds, checks, finds all queries that have the component in their filter to adds attempts add candidates of the entity, the query. Entities inside the query. And this does finds all queries that have the component in their filter to add, remove the entity from the list of entities inside the query. So when you add an entity, hello Emirhan, this is TypeScript, which is a superset of JavaScript. So it's basically JavaScript, but with the types, with strong types. This world notify, yeah, so this new component, no problem. So the architectural issue here is that on each component we have to on each component add or removal, we have to iterate through all the components, through all the queries, and that's kind of slow. but I don't care about this at the moment. So let's focus on delivering private on remove component out component on what the heck, this didn't do anything, the ESLint stuff. Do I have to put the rules here? What the hell, man? So extends. Okay, I need to put it here. What? This world notify. This old component. I don't get how this works. Because there's nothing happening here. But anyway, let's go forward. Entity on component on remove component. Bam bam bam. Okay. Return this. The generic type argument should be specified as part of constructor type arguments. Oh, okay, I forgot about the yeah. So create query, get query. Public remove query. Const. This queries Okay. And then I need something for systems. Create system string. Need a query. Query which is going to be an args, which is a mixed stuff. Any wait. And then this system add set ID system ID query. Here's an interesting question. Do I actually need to register the system? Let's look at the diagram here. So the system will update the entities from query. You don't even need I think you need if you create cross systems or systems that work with another system. But you know what? I don't have that, so I won't bother with it at this point. Okay, so let's see what we have here. What changed? Okay, this is the same. Okay, so world needs to be somewhere here. And then world create entity. And then add component. Add component. Any. Then world create entity layer. Okay, add component. And then default animation frame. Okay. Okay, sheet animation. Again, adding here. Again, adding here. Hello, Rosa God. So entities now live here. But I'm doing nothing with it, so I'm gonna delete it. Create query. Never mind, it's bugged. I think I need to short story. I don't have a working demo, but I had many demos over the years. But right now I'm just working on this engine. And where is it? I'm just focusing on finishing the engine, because last time I ran into problems when I wrote the engine in pure OOP style. So I have some screenshot posted with some gameplay, but yeah. And there's some YouTube video with the gameplay. Yeah, sure. I haven't messed up with Godot because the reason I started from scratch is because I want to learn about game engine programming and then about game design. But you know what I'm interested is this written in what? Built-in scripting language, GD script inspired by Python. Okay. Leverage your C# experience to feel right at home. So if you're experienced C#, Godot offers you first-class support or .NET platform. Nice. Nice. Well, I'm still at it. So where can you learn this? Godot list of features, platform editor rendering, networking, okay, manual, scripting shaders, input handling. You won't hear a fight from here. I've written a lot of engines and no games, so there's that. I think the multi-scripting coding languages was a biggest misstep of Godot. It fractures the already lean tutorial scene. Look up GD Quest for learning. Kind of understand what you're saying. Because I kind of understand the fracturing stuff, but I think for them is a risk to stay with an in-house super implementation of over some Python. I mean, where was it? Learn more. So they have this GD script inspired by Python, and the problem is that you want to bring in developers from all over the place. So if you offer them a custom script, like remember what happened with the Flash with ActionScript. ActionScript was like a subset of JavaScript. Getting back to my shit here. So it appears that I'm gonna leave a note here. Systems need to be registered to world only if there is some cross system dependency. At least that's my opinion at the moment. World register entity, there's no more need for this. We create the queries. These are the systems and did I break anything in the demo? Let me see. Because I must have broken something. It's still Yeah, it's messed up at the moment. Okay. It looks like I'm failing somewhere here. Let me see. Component system. We're in the demo. We added all these components. And then we create a query renderable. Let me see if here we have what this needs. So query new. Okay, and this query has a filter and an empty data set. Type string trivially inferred from a string literal. Remove the type annotation. Okay. What if I don't remove it? What if I... Okay. Process all filters bit masks and then execute. So this is not our problem. Problem is in the player system or keyboard. Wait, so once again, my order is wrong here because I should, when you create a query, actually, I think my logic is flawed. When you create a query, you have to force the candidacy of I need to force all the entities to be processed. But what about so when you create a query, you have to do that. I'm gonna put a method here, like a lazy init. Public init entities. Now question is, does the query need to know about the world? Because the query is at the moment knows only about the filter and the entity that it contains. But if the query doesn't know about the world, then it cannot ask for it cannot ask for entities. So I believe here when we create this, we should have public world, although this could be protected or whatever. Import world, update JS doc. And when we create this here, we give this this reference, and then never mind the tests right now. Tests, I will rewrite them at the end. And here right now, when you init entities or reload, I think this is like an init method. This world entities, for each entity we're gonna candidate each entity and we're gonna add it. So then back to the world, when we create a query, we also query init, we lazy init it in that sense, because you can create it later, so after the creation of the entities, which is my case actually. So now if I going back to whatever I coded here, now the entity appears. Okay, I need to remove all these and we're back to the old issue. So we kind of long way to the old engine, the way old engine rendered the scene, but it feels more decoupled right now. Everything is like understandable. So if I go to my demo, if you read this demo top to bottom, apart from some initiation stuff going on here, which I will figure out, and here this is like setting up the scenes, divs and everything, and the keyboard binding, then everything happens and it's logical. Like we register all the components, we have a world, created a dino, a player, the queries, the systems, and then the game loop. This is so easy to read. Very easy to read actually. And now this was the goal for today's session, is to fix the state. Player is going from the state of is idle to is walking. And we added that. We added the possibility of components to be watched. So when you remove a component now, it's gonna go here, notify queries of entity component removal, and then it will remove that entity from a specific query, so it will not execute. And now we're going to find out what happens actually. Let's see. So right now this entity has it's working based on the idle system, and you can see the state is idle. But we want it to go to the walking system. And it went to the walking system. And now if we go this query execute, the problem is that we have zero entities on walking system, because the keyboard system, what does the keyboard system do? Keyboard system do move. So it says if component has anti-walking, if it doesn't, add it. And let's see what happens here. Let's move the breaking point. So we add the component is walking, and we go here, add component. Okay. We create the instance, then we set it, then we mark the bit mask, then we notify queries of entity component addition, then we go through each query and check for the bit mask. So if query has the component bit mask, it will candidate it. Okay, walking, and now it candidates the entity. Now the entity has to match so if it's all, I see. So I messed up the rule here, because you have to have all the bits, and my component bit mask doesn't have all the bits. So it needs to match partially, right? So candidate match. Wait a second. I don't need to candidate it. I just need to insert it. Data set. Right, I don't need to do this. Query. Entity. Where is my data set here? What? My data set is an array? I don't know why I did it like that, but I must have had my reasons. Bro, what up? Vishesh. I'm doing an engine in TypeScript for a game. For a game that I already made in another engine. But this time I'm using ECS, which is Entity Component System, and it's like a methodology, a new methodology. It's data driven, it's not object oriented. So I'm writing the engine from this game, for this game, and I'm writing it from scratch. So I might use add here. And now I have to go back to here and just add entity. So that was my mistake. Hopefully the only one. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so now I have walk right, but the animation tick is messed up. State properties. Got it. This is because when I'm setting this up, add component is walking. Yeah, it can run in browser, but it can also be published to Steam. So you can do this by wrapping your application. Let's say you have a web app. Doesn't matter if it's a game or a web app, like a React web app, and then you wrap it with what's it called, NWJS, for example. And you can wrap it with this or with Electron.js. Then you can publish it to the marketplaces. I don't think you can publish to iOS because they have restrictions. but this way you can create a native application out of your web app. Okay, it's working. So I know what's the problem here. The problem is that by default, by default, I don't have defaults on this, so it's what's the okay, so it should be like walking mission string tick number should be 0. I don't have defaults on this one. Yeah. And now what I don't have is when this dude stops. I don't have, so this is something that I need to figure out. Obviously a state should have its default, but it should not animate itself like this. It should be idled down like here. Why is idle down being animated? And let's look here. Animation. It looks like it got the frames from walking for some reason. Because it considers the current state because walking is never removed. That was our problem. So we're back to square one. Let me give you the links. NWGS and ElectronJS. Yes, that's what I have to do. So or at least I need to know when he stops. And that's kind of a major problem that I kept having in the old engine and in the new engine. And it's related to the states. But now at least is easier to figure out because I have a It's a much more simple engine right now. So this is player keyboard system, and do move happens when you press keyboards. So this is player keyboard system. If you no longer play, how do I do this? So if do move, if you no longer move, then we trigger and this, what is this here? No, it's entity. An entity has component. If entity has the component is walking, we need to remove it. Entity remove component is walking. Yes, I'll explain in a second why I don't use key up. Okay, now the state is and give me a second, either right. Okay, I had to reset the either right because it doesn't have the frame. Perfect. So now it works. Here's the issue. ECS decouple is using this ECS system. You decouple the way you write your code. So basically in the game loop there is an input system, what you say with key down, key up, but that's completely separate from everything. So input system doesn't know, it just knows about keyboard presses. It doesn't know about states, motion, whatever. Then the following systems, idle system, walking system, render system, they are based on above, on what's above them. So if input system, input system, so the keyboard system has actions going on, like you saw, like you've seen here, it can trigger some states, and these states triggered here will impact these two systems and how they work. So everything is decoupled. That's the key of ECS, because previously in the OP style you had everything on the player class. You had the states here pre-registered, and then you had the keyboard input, and it was with key down, key up, and that's a very it's like there's no separation of concerns here, although it's easier to write code like this, and I have done it in the old engine. So if we look here, player, this is the old engine. You have a class, extends an actor, you have the states, you have everything, and then at some point you also have the do walk. Where's the do walk stuff? It was somewhere in here, but you have these states, walk state, and then in the walk state you have player do walk. Do walk was on actor, and this caused a lot of problems. Why they are taking the time as parameter? Because time in a request animation frame is the time, is the, where is it? The timestamp is a decimal number, milliseconds. This timestamp is shared between all windows, blah blah blah. indicating, so the time is indicating the end time of the previous frame. The reason why this is important is this here. Be sure to always use the first argument, which is the time, or some other methods for getting the current time to calculate how much the animation will progress in a frame. Otherwise, the animation will run faster on a higher refresh rate screens. And to show you what I mean by that is, I have a short here. Where is it, the short? I was goofing with my kid. But where's the progress here? Here. Unfortunately, I can't make it progress. Just a second. Yeah, it's to control FPS, exactly. Look, you see this? I had a monitor with 60 frames. When you move to the other monitor, I had 244 or 40 something frames. So you don't want your game to run faster than 60 hertz. Or maybe it's an old computer and it has 50 hertz, which is 50 cycles per second. And there's something else here. You can control the rate at which you update your keyboard input. So maybe you want to take or rendering or some sort of logic, like for example the logic of attacking or finding a path. You don't want to execute that 60 times per second. You want to execute like maybe 1 time per second or 30 times per second. And that way some games control their AI and make their AI smarter, quote unquote, or dumber. And now the problem here is that the previous state is not resetting is not resetting its parameters. How do you do that? It looks like I still need a state manager. Because you remove the component, but then you're with the last one. Is idle. Where is this used? In the idle system, of course. So I need a way to reset. Huh. Oh, okay. So when it stops walking, yeah. Player walking system. So here, when you remove this, why don't you remove all moving components at the end of a game loop and put it on key press? Because key press is a high frequency event. If you press right now your keyboard, it's gonna issue like I don't know, 10 events per not 10, 100 events per second. So you would overload your script. So instead of that, the keyboard system only registers keys. Look, because you said about key up and key down. Let me show you here. Where is it? Look, I have an input here, and this keyboard input class is doing this: key up, key down. But it's only filling an array, like a map. With, I mean, if you press W or A, it will say, okay, the player wants to go up and left. But that's all it does. Then the other system comes here and says, hey, give me the, are any keys pressed? Give me the ongoing actions, and based on the ongoing actions, I will set the state. And what I'm missing right now here is this part with reset state. I don't have a reset state method, but it's clear that if the player stops moving, then I need something like entity add or reset component is idle, and it has to be something like this. And it's ugly right now because I didn't took care about of stuff, but I'm gonna figure it out. Yeah, it still dies. Yeah, because add component, what does it do? It inits. Then in the idle, I need to know how many frames I have for idle, because idle is not a looping animation, is it? So I have idle right, animation frame. Okay, that means I'm fetching the wrong animations. Idle right. Why do I have... for other idle right, I don't have frames. And right. Okay, I get it. So I need to go to my rendering system and put a protection here. If bigger or equal, then stop. Yeah. Okay, and now I need to... It's doing something strange. Because first it works normally and then it speeds up. Yeah, so the state that I have to reach, by the way, is is this, which is the old engine. So I have all this coded in the old engine, but now I need to make it work with DCS because this was not scalable, and I really I got really stuck programming this. Let me think why this happens. Is it because I did this? If animation tick is bigger than the frame length. Okay, because this is temporary. This shouldn't exist here. Right. So my problem right now is the current state. So now you see it's idle right, left. It shouldn't be that. That means that the idle system still works. That means that when the player is moving, I have to make sure so if the player is moving, I still don't have events for when a player stopped something, doing something, and moving is just an example. But if entity has component is idle, entity remove component is idle. Sir, I'm 40. I'm 40 years old. Idle is still executing. What the heck? So if it does move, and this is true, then maybe I'm not removing it from here, from the query. So let me see in the locking system. No, player keyboard. Okay, remove component is idle. On remove component, notify queries of entities. Okay. Oh my god, I made a mistake here. It's for fun. It's for fun. It's I don't need to do this. It's for fun. It's open source. I put the engine. It's just for me to practice because I'm using different programming languages during the day at work. So it's just passion and some practice. Okay, I made a mistake here. Query. Okay. And now we have what we wanted. I'm a software developer. I'm not a game developer. I'm a software developer by day. I've worked for like 20 something years in the software industry. I can't say I'm a web developer because I no longer do websites or stuff like that, but I started as a web developer. Okay, now we need, I think the diagonal is moving faster, and I know why. Because there are some calculations that I previously had. Calculate future position. Da, da, da. Okay, so we made some progress today. Let me I will commit all this. And the tests are not working actually. I should commit the tests. I should fix the tests. Locking idle works in demo. Tests. Unit tests are broken. World now registers entities queries and queries. But you know what? I'm not gonna let these tests fail. I should also have a pipeline in there. Yeah, bye. It's 12 a.m. on my part. Have a good day and have a good sleep. I'm gonna work tomorrow, so I'll be closing soon as well. Actually, I think in the next 10 minutes I will close the session. Okay, so what did we learn today? We learned that events are good. They are used to add and remove stuff from queries, whether there are components or entities themselves. I got inspired from you asleep because you code all day. Yes, so tomorrow I have to go at 9 a.m. I start my work, and I work in I'm making the APIs for a company in Finland that works in the EV, electric vehicle charging business. So I think I have some meetings right in the morning, but sometimes when I want to do something, this actually relaxes me. So it's not like a chore, you know. But unfortunately the brain doesn't shut down, so I need to shut down in the next like 10 minutes and go to bed. Otherwise I will not be able to sleep. So yeah, so I'll leave it like this, and tomorrow I'll continue with the unit tests. Commit. Ideally for me would be not to go to work, but I still have some money to raise before that, and ideally I would do this full-time, developing a game on Steam and publishing it there. Tests now work for entity. Okay. GitHub. Let's see. Yeah, so I finished this. Next minor goal, create an action to run unit tests. So I need to create an action just like I did here, where I can take this as an example. And then next for the game, what should I do? I need to move to, so rendering, I did render. I need to move to action next to goal. Player hits with club action, and this might be complicated than it looks, so I need to do the grid basically. Learn about how to implement the grid in ECS. It's not really in ECS, but it's along these. Okay, thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.